This video is going to give you the directions on how to finish your soft jacket or top and how we're going to do the hem. You can see here I have done the hem so that it folds back on itself, and then the hem of the jacket is actually here at 1¼ inches. So the way that we do this is once we have our facing sewn in, imagine this was the rest of the garment. I only have one panel here. I have it sewn in, the facing. So to be able to start the hem, I know we've planned our hem to be 1 1/4 inches. So I would measure up 1 1/4 inches on the bottom and pin this with its right sides to itself. So I would pin it there. Pin it there. And I'm going to sew straight across at 1 1/4 inches and end right where the facing reaches the body. And I'd like to start at the center front, so if anything stretches, I don't mind if it goes off on that other side a little bit, but I don't want it to go off at the front. So I'm going to back stitch, and then I'm going to sew 1 1/4. Once that's been completed, I'm going to trim off this extra, and I can trim it down to about 1/4 inch. And then I can straighten this out on the body part, and then this extra little bit of the facing I can trim off as well. So I'm going to leave it with a little bit of an L shape. Then what I'm going to do is turn this corner, and I'm going to get it nice and flat. So I'm going to take a tool and go in here to really get this corner to ease out. Okay, so once I've got it to the point where I'm happy with it, then I can go to the ironing board and press this. But while I'm there, I'm going to also be pressing the hem area. Oh, by the way, this would have been serged first, this area. So if you don't have a serger, you can just bend it back one very just 1/4 inch, and you can sew up the edge. So with that as having a clean edge, our goal is to be able to get the seam to have a clean, or the hem to have a clean edge. So here I'm going to double roll it. So when I go to the iron, I'm going to plan this, and I'm going to press down what's going to be sewn under and get a nice even hem around. Once you've pressed everything, you can press this back of the facing down and the hem up 1 1/4 inches. Then we can go to the machine and sew the hem. So you have options. Your hem can start here and go the whole way, or it can actually just start where the facing ends. I like it to go the whole way. But before I'm going to sew it, I'm going to sew down the facing. So on this particular one, I'm going to edge stitch the facing down. You can sew it from the front side if you can see the facing. You can sew it from the front side if you can see the facing. But for a beginning sewer, I think it's easier to work from this side. When you've gotten to the end, you can back stitch. And then you're going to make sure that your stitch line is nice and even. Of course, if I wasn't working in contrast thread, you might not see it quite so much. But I'm sewing in contrast thread so you can see what I've done. Okay, so now that that's done, of course, we would press it, and then finally we can go and do the hem. So again, you can make the decision whether you want to start at the very end and go the whole way across. On my jacket, I did do that. And as a matter of fact, I went back and did a second stitch. I don't know if you can see, but there are 2 stitches side by side there. So I'm going to do something similar on this one. I'm going to back stitch and then just continue sewing the hem closed, keeping it nice and straight, realizing that you're going to be seeing this from the other side. So I'm really watching the gauge on the side to make sure that it stays straight. And the finished piece will have the one seam holding the facing down, the other going across to the hem, and from the inside it's going to be closed, and the hem will be finished.